Welcome back. Well, the federal judge who ordered a halt on deportation flights carrying hundreds of illegals to El Salvador, he is demanding more answers by noon today from the administration before an upcoming hearing this Friday. The DOJ says the flights did not violate Judge James Boasberg's order to turn the planes around. The department says it's not providing any more information publicly right now to protect sensitive foreign operations. Joining me now is South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson. AG, great to have you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. And I know you and many AGs across the country are pushing back on this. You're leading a coalition of more than 20 attorneys general, all pushing back against Judge Boasberg. What do you want to see happen here, sir?
Well, first off, it's 26 state attorneys general that have joined our brief to the district court in D.C. to support President Trump's actions and the administration's actions to remove these violent illegal aliens who are actually proxy agents of a foreign government. And I know people throw around the terms invasion, but this is actually people should look at this more not as a law enforcement operation, but more as a kind of a proxy war by the Venezuelan government. And again, this judge has no more right to go into the Pentagon and tell the judge not to fire a missile at an enemy combatant than he does to tell the president that the president can't weigh on foreign affairs or national security issues. This is a national security issue more than it is a law enforcement operation in any particular state.
Well, this is a very important point that you make, that this is about a national security issue, about Venezuela and its pushback on America. This is also about this particular judge, is it not? I spoke with the chairman of the Judiciary Committee in the House, Jim Jordan, the other day, and he went through other acts that this same judge has done to prove that this is just another activist that is trying to resist President Trump. Here's Jim Jordan. Watch.
This is the same judge, by the way, Maria, who a few years ago, when there was information taken to the FISA court that was false, the guy who falsified that information, this lawyer, Kevin Kleinsmith, basically Judge Boasberg gave him a slap on the wrist. So this is that same judge. Don't let the hardened criminals leave, even though the head of the executive branch, Article 2, Section 1 says executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States. This is his prerogative. He followed the law. He did this. This judge says, no, no, no. Bring the hardened criminals back. Bring the gang members back. And we're going to have a hearing on it. I think it's set for next Friday. This is why the American people support what President Trump is doing and are fed up with these judges. Now, we took some action a couple of weeks ago in our committee. We said these federal judges, these district federal judges who issue some kind of injunction, some kind of hearing, or some kind of decision, I should say, that decision should only apply to the parties of the case in that respective jurisdiction, not have nationwide implications.
So, AG, you're pushing back. What's the timing on this? How does this play out?
Well, I mean, honestly, the states have joined in an amicus brief in support of the administration and the Department of Justice. I'm so proud of what Pam Bondi's doing to defend President Trump's executive order. Again, we hope that the Supreme Court will receive this pleading immediately and reverse what this judge has done. Again, the Supreme Court in other cases, like in Trump v. Hawaii, where Clarence Thomas signaled that these nationwide injunctions or injunctions that are filed by federal judges are getting a little bit too popular. This is something that the framers of the Constitution never envisioned, and that the Supreme Court should weigh in at some point. So if Clarence Thomas was serious when he said that in that briefing in the Trump v. Hawaii case a number of years ago, I would like to see the Supreme Court smack down this judge's order and then rightfully put the Trump administration back in the driver's seat in protecting and promoting the national security for the United States.
I know, but we've already heard from Chief Justice John Roberts. He issued a rare statement. He never does, but he did here after President Trump called for the impeachment of Judge Boasberg. He writes this: "It has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose." AG.
Well, and that's exactly what I was actually talking about, that the Supreme Court has the ability to reverse actions on what these district court judges are doing. I mean, honestly, he was talking about impeachment. I'm talking about the Supreme Court basically putting the court system back on the tracks, slapping these judges down when they try to do these injunctions against the Trump administration from actually performing its Article 2 functions in promoting and supporting national security and defending the safety and health of the United States. This is something that I actually fully support. I saw how the Democrats weaponized the impeachment process against Donald Trump, and I abhor that. I found it reprehensible. So I am loath to go down the road of impeachment, but I do think the Supreme Court, which I'm fully supporting, has a way to go back and slap down this district court judge in the D.C. circuit, slap them down, allow the Trump administration to move forward on promoting the national security of the United States. And that's why 26 states are supporting this executive order.
I see. And so how long will the appellate process take, do you think? I mean, ordinary citizens understand that there are gang members running around in big cities in America, and they came into this country illegally. And I would say most ordinary Americans want to see them leave. But the timing of this and the legal proceedings is going to take much longer.
Not necessarily. The court can move as fast as it wants to. And so this could go very quickly. Again, Tren de Aragua is not a gang. It's a transnational criminal organization. It's a foreign terrorist organization. It's no different than Osama bin Laden or ISIS walking our streets.
That's a good point, because they were recently deemed a foreign terrorist organization. So in that regard, maybe things changed there, and you're able to be successful. All right, we'll be watching that one. AG, you're also leading a coalition of 15 attorneys general supporting the DOJ's Joint Task Force to combat anti-Semitism. Tell us about that.
Well, listen, I had an opportunity to visit with Leo Terrell last week when I was at the Department of Justice when President Trump visited, and I applaud his efforts in the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department to combat the anti-Semitism we're seeing spread across certain campuses in the country. We don't see it as much in South Carolina because we have a very robust Jewish population, but where we do see it, we want to stomp it out, and that's why AGs around the country are supporting our efforts to promote and support the Justice Department's combating of anti-Semitism in this country.
So would you like to see more universities respond and show action? And would you support, if they don't, the federal government stripping them from federal funding like President Trump is threatening Columbia?
Absolutely. I would love to see the federal government strip these administrations, these high institutions of higher education, strip them of all their money. I mean, I believe that if they're not going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do to promote and protect the health and welfare of their Jewish students, then take their money, you grab them by the money, and their hearts and minds will follow. And so, yeah, take their money from them if they're not going to do the right things for simply doing the right thing.
All right, AG, we'll be watching your work. You've got a lot going on this morning. Attorney General Alan Wilson, we so appreciate you joining us to talk about it. Thank you, sir.